Part 2. This is our research study, the household environment, and its impact on pediatric immune response. According to David Strachan, that certain exposures in childhood can drive the immune system of a child. However, this is opposed by the studies of Magalus and Vinjic, which states that the different aspects of housing can affect positively or negatively a child's health, depending on the substandard or the standards of the materials used for the housing. Roughly 30.7% of the population of the Philippines are children, as according to the Philippine Statistics Authority. Now, our children, or the children in the Philippines, are exposed in the outside environment. For example, when they are playing outside of the playground, the environment, or even outside school. However, are there certain factors that affect when they are inside? Kasi meron po tayong study according sa Pediatric Association po, or sa, dyan po makikita sa aming RRL, na pwede naman po natin ilabas sa mga children in order to prime their immune response. However, kung i-keep lang natin sila sa loob, meron kayong mga factors na makaka-affect. There are certain microbes inside our home that can affect the immune response of the children. That is according to many studies in our related research and our gathered data. Now, the rationality of our study highlights the crucial role of the household environment in children's development, emphasizing its impact on health and the growth of the immune system. The study is conducted in Marami History that aims to explore how different household environments affect children's immune response. Given the ongoing health threats, understanding factors that impact children's immunity is essential, with a primary goal of contributing insight into pediatric immune defense across various household settings. I am Christine Zarina A. Zamora.
Engineer.
Javier B. Manalat.
Leon J. Perez.
And we are the group 4. For our statement of the problem, here is Ina Baraka. Our research aims to answer the following questions. Number 1. How does the household environment of the children be described in terms of 1.1? Housing characteristics, which includes the type of residential buildings of roof materials and outer materials. 1.2. Water and sanitation. This includes the main source of water supply of the household and the type of toilet facility used. And waste management. This encompasses the system of garbage disposal of the household, the garbage collector or who collects the garbage, and frequent the garbage gets collected. Number 2. How does the pediatric immune response of the children be described in terms of 2.1? Infectious disease or infection. This number encompasses the different types of infections like upper respiratory infections, bronchitis or pneumonia, gastrointestinal tract infections, skin or mucosal infections, bronchial abscesses, and urinary tract infections. 2.2. Hospital stay and medical treatment. Included here are the frequency of the outpatient and inpatient care of a child due to an infectious disease. And also, this includes the number of absences of a child due to an infectious disease. Lastly, 2.3 medicine. This includes the frequency of the prescriptions of antibiotics, vitamins, and other medicines. Next, number 3. It aims to answer or to determine if there is a significant relationship between the household environment and the pediatric immune response, which the answer will be revealed at the conclusion part of our presentation. Lastly, number 4. What is the study's implications to the improvement? So these are the recommendations or the implications we would like to suggest according to our gathered data. For the related literature, introducing David Clapham's book, The Meaning of Housing, Upon This Approach. David Clapham's book talks about how people's housing choices affect their lives. He says that housing isn't just about having a place to live, it's about feeling happy and fulfilled. He looks at how different kinds of houses
living situation influence who we are and how we live. This can include things like who we live with, where our house is, and how it relates to our work. We also talk about how our housing choices change as we get older. This way of thinking about housing can help us understand how it affects our lives and how we can make better housing choices. So connecting this to our study, we can see that the condition of our homes can affect our health, especially for children. For example, if a house is dirty or has things like mold, it can make children sick more often. Understanding how different housing situations affect health can help us make homes safer for children.
For the related study,
The related research we choose to present here today is one of the studies that directly supports the data findings that we have gathered. The study by Krieger and Higgins, entitled Housing and Health, Time Again for Public Health Action, which was published in 2002, emphasized the negative effects of housing conditions on health, especially focusing on asthma and lead exposure. Poor housing conditions are associated with a wide range of health conditions, including respiratory infections, asthma, lead poisoning, injury, and mental health. Addressing housing issues offers public health experts an opportunity to address an important social determinant of health. Public health has long been involved in housing issues. In 19th century, health officials target poor sanitation, crowding, and insufficient ventilation to reduce infectious diseases. In the same way, our research explores the relationship between housing characteristics and pediatric health outcomes, showing how housing factors affect children's health. The importance of enhancing housing conditions to support improving health is emphasized in both studies, particularly for vulnerable groups, which is support our research.
our research design,
This research design is used correlation now in the study design to identify the relationship between the household environment and immune response in their capacity to achieve the purpose of the research. Quantitative research is used. Following design of Wikipedia around 2019, they recognize authority in research methodologies highlights correlational research as a valuable method for predicting and estimating relationship among variables. Within this framework, the study applies correlational research design principles to determine the association between specific aspects of the household environment and their immune response. We identify the household environment in terms of housing characteristics, water and sanitation, and waste management, and identifying pediatric immune response in terms of infectious disease infections, hospital stay and medical treatment and medicines. 21 item closed-ended questionnaire will be used. Upon data collection, the researchers will utilize the chi-square method of determining if a meaningful correlation exists between the household environment and the pediatric immune system.
our sampling method,
The researchers utilized composite sampling to select participants from barangay Christians pediatric population based on frequent pediatric checkup or illness frequency. When doing research studies, we should consider the sample to be representative to the target population as much as possible, with the least possible error and without substitution or incompleteness. The process of selecting a sample population from the target population is called the sampling method. This approach ensured relevance to the research objectives, resulting in a sample of 446 children from a total estimated pediatric population of 4,934 in the barangay, one of Papas Tarlac's largest residential areas.
for summary of findings, as you can see here in our table, IN1 stands for upper respiratory tract infection, IN2 stands for bronchitis pneumonia, IN3 stands
signifies the UTI or urinary tract infection. So all of the values from iron 5, from iron 1 to iron 5 are significant. This is also according to the study of Moulton, which explains that crowded places often result in poor air ventilation, therefore the faster spread of infectious disease. However, we haven't found any significance with regards to the UTI or urinary tract infection. For the hospital stay and medical treatment, HSMP1 signifies the outpatient care, HSMP2 is inpatient care, and HSMP3 signifies the number of absences due to infectious disease. As you can see, the 5 presidential building doesn't have any significance with regards to HSMP1 that has significance with the roof material and outer wall. For HSMP2, the only significant one is for the 5 residential building, while HSMP3 or the number of absences due to infectious disease are significant, related with the housing correction. Next, table 16, as you can see, this is the medicine. Medicine 1 stands for the prescription of antibiotics. This one is the vitamins, and this one of other medicines. All values are significant.
Table 18, water and sanitation, key values based on infectious diseases. It shows here how infectious diseases significant to main source of water and sanitation. In IN1 shows how upper respiratory tract infection significantly source of water supply, same two type of toilet facility. In IN2 to IN5 also significant the main source of water supply to type of toilet facility. In IN6 upper respiratory tract infections significant the main source of water supply, but not significant in type of toilet facility. And NAVLEN, this team in 2011 discovered that not having clean water and toilet and washing hands well affects how diseases spread among children. They found that pneumonia, a sickness in the lungs, was quite common, affecting around 18.4% of children aged 0 to 5 years old. Table 20, water and sanitation, key values based on hospital stay and medical treatment. It shows how hospital stay and medical treatment show significance to water and sanitation. Hospital HSMP1 pertain to
kasi wala na HSMP parang nakalagay din lang sa paper niya.
Table 20, all the values are significant from HSMP1 to HSMP3. So the main source of water supply and the type of toilet facility are all significantly related to the inpatient, outpatient, and number of absences of children due to infectious disease. Next, table 21, water and sanitation based on medicine prescription, all are significantly related. As you can see, as you can notice naman po that medicine and hospital stay and medical treatment are very related. Lastly, for the summary of findings.
And here po in table 24 sa waste management, as you can see in our table of system of garbage disposal and garbage collector, maximum IN6 is hindi siya significant or parang hindi naman sa walang relation, pero kailangan lang po ng mas research or investigation para dito. And sa frequency of garbage collection naman po, we can see naman po na significant siya. Meron pong studies doon na nagsasabi sa Fifth of 2019 who proposed that handling garbage could release airborne pollution, contributing to respiratory issues such as asthma, exacerbation, and lung problems.
Kasi yung garbage ko lang, kasi nung dito,
Hospital stay.
the system of garbage and disposal and frequency of garbage collection po is significant siya, while sa garbage collector is not significant. And sa waste management and medicine po is system of garbage disposal is M1 to M3 is significant po siya, and sa garbage collector is not significant. And sa frequency of garbage sa M1 is not significant, and M2, M3 significant. And sa data na nagpapakita sa table na to is meron kami nakaline na isang study of Chowdhury and Moody's of 2022, analysis of the occurrence of antibiotic resistant bacteria in the hospital effluent and its receiving environment, finds that if hospital waste isn't handled properly, it can spread bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics. This is a problem because it could mean more infections than needs from antibiotics.
For our conclusion, in the light of the findings of the study, the following conclusions were derived. First, most of the children reside in single-house residences that were constructed with strong materials. The predominant source of water supply, toilet facilities, system of garbage disposal, garbage collector, and frequency of garbage collection are bottled, purified, distilled, water sealed, sewer septic tank, used exclusively by the household garbage collector and once a week, respectively. Second, the degree of susceptibility of the children included in the study with environmental ray is slightly susceptible to infectious diseases. Third, the household environment and pediatric immune response are significantly related. And lastly, improvement concerning household characteristics, water and sanitation facilities, and waste management practices are recommended to reduce the risk of infection and the frequency of hospital stays and medical treatment.
For recommendations,
given the significant correlation between household characteristics and infectious diseases, crucial to focus on enhancing household. This may involve initiatives such as upgrading residential buildings to ensure they are constructed with stronger materials, especially for roofs and outer walls. Additionally, promoting proper ventilation and insulation in homes can contribute to healthier living environments. Second, since the type of water supply and toilet facility show significant correlation with infectious disease, attention should be directed towards improving water and sanitation infrastructure. This could include expanding access to clean and safe water sources, upgrading toilet facilities to more hygienic options, and implementing proper sewage disposal systems. Third, the study highlights the importance of proper waste management in reducing the risk of infection disease. Therefore, effort should be made to ensure efficient garbage collection system and promote community awareness about waste disposal practices, implementing recycling programs, and encouraging the proper segregation of waste can also contribute to a cleaner and healthier environment.
that will be done with our presentation. We are now open for any questions, please.
Ayan, so thank you guys and congratulations. So for our first question, what are the hindrances you've encountered during the conduct of your study? Okay.
One of the hindrances that we encountered in our study is actually finding the right respondents. As you can see, we use purposive sampling, therefore we have criteria in order to find the valuable respondents that will fit our research. So that is actually one of the most challenging happenings na nangyari po sa aming research. However po, nakaka-comply naman po kami ng mga respondents po namin and hindi po mag-research po naman para po magkaroon sa system.
Ilang respondents kayo? 50. So bakit 58?
Actually po, yung pong pinigay po sa amin ni Ma'am Kalenda, is bali na daw po mag-30. However po, meron po kasi siyang sinuggest na we can consult RHU po or the Rural Health Unit of our barangay in order to madagdagan man lang po
yung respondents po namin. And then also po, nakikita naman po sa criteria namin yung mga dumapload na respondents po. Kaya po nag-record sa criteria. As you can see naman po sa aming sampling method, meron po kami 446 na preliminary survey. Ganun po kami, parang nag-rate po ng mga.
Yeah, so thank you. Ayun, so actually, I would like to commend everyone for a job well done. So far, I think this one's the best when it comes to presentation, and ako kasi particular sa PowerPoint. Parang gusto kasi mga ma-action, walang mga ganon.
Actually po, yung presentation po namin, courtesy po sa presentation niyo. Na-inspire po kami, sabi niyo po kasi na gusto niyo po yung attention to is napunta sa amin instead po nasa paper lang. So, use as much as possible po kami naglagay po talaga ng mga words.
Ayan. Tapos and then yung pag-present nyo nga ng tables nyo, though maraming numbers, hinighlight nyo lang din talaga kunwari yung mga naka-red, naka-green. Parang ang ganda ng concept na naka-red is walang significant, naka-green may significant.
Nakakagulalo lang po.
Pero may isa nakaligtas
Ano?
na hindi na rin. Yung 0.037 yata yun.
Saan page po sir?
Nakabasa na kita. Dinuro kayo.
Oo, tinuro kanina ni sir. Hanapin nyo na lang. Actually, ayun. Tapos sa paper naman, unang-una yung immune nyo.
Wrong spelling.
Walang M. Yung spelling is wrong.
Tapos English.
Sir, may dala kaming printer na lang namin i-repeat yan para sa
Ayan. Tapos may mga sasabihin lang sa survey.
So, doon lang sa no, mga lang, mga minor lang naman siya. Diba sa table of contents, pakiayas yung numbering, tapos din sa mismo bibliography ninyo sa last part, gumamit tayo EPA format, no? Follow yung mismong formatting kung paano gumagamit ng bibliography. Tapos, dun sa mismong mga part ng chapter ninyo, ano yan siya, no? First letter capital, huwag yung capital yung mismong chapter, yung word ng chapter. No? And dun sa no? Since kasi 58 yung respondents nyo, gumamit kayo nagbilang kayo ng frequency. Since kasi pag 100, as it is, pag nag-percentage tayo, kung 21 din yung percentage. Sa inyo kasi 58 lang yung respondents mo, so gamit kayo ng percentage. I-reflect nyo yung percentage. Para malaman natin kung ilang percent. Kasi 58 lang siya, hindi siya sakto na 100. Lang. Yun lang.
Ayun. So, congratulations.
Para